I'm going to start out by saying that this trend in gaming where story-driven adventure games are expanding beyond Telltale. Fix your engine, please. It's a trend I've really enjoyed, and I hope it expands beyond Don't Nod, makers of Life is Strange, and the few others out there that are making games like this. Life is Strange, for those without the inside scoop, is a Walking Dead-style point-and-click adventure game about a teenage photography student who mysteriously acquires the power to rewind time. So far, the series has had positive reviews and excels in creating a good world with good explorability, having choices that feel like they matter, and a hella compelling plotline. I'm sorry. But if you've played the previous episodes, you know what to expect. Graphically, the game still looks great, with a lot of retreaded ground for this installment, ensuring new assets get plenty of attention. Mouth syncing is still questionable, but has yet to pull me out of a scene this season. Bar some notable delayed pop-in textures, the technical aspects are all exactly what you'd expect and want. No real faltering here. Episode 3, Chaos Theory, picks up after... Previous episode plot spoilers warning. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're good? Yeah. Okay, good. Episode 3 picks up after the viral video of Kate Marsh has driven her to attempt suicide. Depending on how well you handle the situation, she may or may not have a tombstone waiting for her. With a seemingly random eclipse falling upon the setting sun, the mysteries are only continuing to pile upon one another. The new chapter in Max Caulfield's attempt to avert disaster is very well handled. I still find myself checking every corner and looking at every item to learn a bit more about the world and enjoy the witty dialogue of our heroine. I still find the path forward often feels like one of my own making rather than being forced by the inevitably linear corridor of the plot. I still, unfortunately, find a bit of the dialogue cringeworthy, though it is getting better. Structurally, the plot takes after the second episode a surprisingly large amount. As Max and Chloe tiptoe the line of safety, Life is Strange spends a lot of time developing the whole cast and setting up for things to come. Much of this development is well integrated into both the main plot and the deviations you stumble upon while exploring. It can be frustrating, though, when the game loves to serve up new mysteries on top of the old ones, which it refuses to have the girls solve. In general, it works well, though. The setup and gallivanting lead to a breaking point where the plot picks up into high gear. Much like Kate's breath-held finale, the game throws everything at the wall once again, disrupting the fun little adventures to stab home exactly how much is at stake. To say it bluntly, Chaos Theory trumps its predecessor in this regard, and the ending of the episode sufficiently made my jaw drop. Max's powers are key now, with a new facet of her abilities manifesting itself for the finale again. Throughout the episode, Don't Nod actually does a lot to let the player have fun with these abilities too. From performing her own specialty of magic tricks to impersonating Arsene Lupin, Max has her game face on for Chaos Theory, and it's really satisfying to take advantage of the scenarios designed around her powers. If Chaos Theory falters anywhere, it's in the major decisions. While progressing through the plot feels like a natural progression, the decisions rarely did. They often felt relatively straightforward or trivial, with few of them actually causing a notable split between the people come the final results screen. The episode takes a step back from giving you big decisions and seeing the impact of them, which may be why the plot of the episode itself holds up so well. All in all, though, Chaos Theory is an excellent new addition to the Life is Strange season. So, time for spoiler talk, eh? Well, here's your last warning. If you don't want to get spoiled on episode 3 of Life is Strange, back out now, because I'm turning all my limiters to 0 compliance. Let's start off with a simple one. Kate. My playthrough had her alive, and I don't have a running one to test how the game would react without her, but it's easy enough to predict. Many of the assets in-game look like they barely have to be touched to make it accommodate. Dialogue, however, might be a bit more significant. The plotline of Max being a heroine because of it didn't play a big part outside the toning down of the direness of some statements, but it's mentioned a lot throughout the episode. Episode 3 doesn't hold so much of a major choice in the end, so hopefully Don't Nod can expand upon the previous huge choices and let their implications shine in episode 4. Out of all my complaints, that's probably one of my larger ones. Speaking of complaints from episodes, Chloe's actually a lot better this time, after being a total biatch in the last one. Her tantrums typically only come when her family is involved, so it's nice to stay away from them for the majority of the episode. Once again, speaking of Chloe's family. William. Oh goodness, could they have made her father more of a dork? He actually reminds me a lot of Warren. His limited appearance towards the end was great, and made me wish you could stop him from dying in that car accident. But wait, you can? Hella yeah, I'd do that. I mean, what could go wrong? Then it happens. He's alive, and all the bad memories turn to good ones, right? Right? You open the door, and there sits the untraumatized Chloe. Well, the Chloe without her old mental trauma. Instead, you see the electronic wheelchair slowly move out as Max covers her mouth in astonishment. I said the ending literally had my jaw drop, and I meant it. I even put down my controller and everything. I never expected this. Why would you do this to me, game? Why? And at the ending, too. Dontnod really knows what they're doing. That was one of the best and most well set up cliffhangers I've had in a long time. Well, as a side note, if I run over to the internet right now and I see that episode 3 had different possible endings, then I'm just not going to believe it. I don't think I could. Rather, I just may not want it, because that ending felt so well set up and perfect. There was, however, a lot to take in for that last bit of events. Max jumps to her 13-year-old self and averts the death of poor William, only to jump back and find herself a part of the Vortex Club. And Victoria is her friend? Leaving with this cliffhanger leaves so many questions, but I think the focus of the next episode seems pretty obvious. Would it be better to let William die? Would it be better to keep this new world and simply drop the world of the past, which admittedly would be an interesting way of handling the impact of player choices? You know what, please don't do that, don't nod, because I like my choices. But yeah, there is even the question of whether Max can use her powers anymore. Earlier in the episode, Chloe made the suggestion that she was the key to Max unlocking her powers. With that event now never happening, does Max even have any choice in the matter anymore? I really did love this episode. Stories that keep me guessing and my mind on edge are always some of my favorites. And the most painful part about this all is that it's like 6 weeks plus until any of my questions can get answered. Damn you, Dontnod. Okay, well, this was Echo 6, and I'm signing out. Drive safely.